How to reunite with my brother. In Spain? That is the topic of today's video. Stay tuned and you'll have it all clear. Let's go. I am Juan Vasquez, Director of Legal in Spain, a firm specializing in immigration and nationality. And today my voice might sound a bit strange because I'm having issues with it. I have a virus in my throat, so now you know why. I apologize for this little issue. Family reunification with a brother. Well, a somewhat controversial topic. Many people believe it exists, others do not, and the reality is that it does exist, but not for everyone. It exists. Depending on whether the person doing the reunification is a Spanish citizen or an EU citizen from the European Union, the European Economic Area, or Switzerland, or if it is a citizen simply with legal residency, a foreigner with legal residency in Spain. In this last case, I can tell you right away that it does not exist. If you are a foreigner residing in Spain, and therefore you do so with a residence permit and not with nationality, then you will not be able to reunite your siblings. You, having that status as a foreigner with simply a legal residence permit, will only be able to reunite your partner, or your spouse, or your children under 18 and no one else. Or, well, in the case that you are a long-term resident, not a temporary residence, but a long-term residence, then also your parents over 65 if you prove that they are dependent on you and need that help, but no one else. With that, we already address a question that surely many of those watching this video had. And it is whether I, with legal residence, can reunite my siblings? Well, the answer is no, only the relatives I just mentioned. So if you are interested in reuniting a sibling, move forward to obtain your nationality. We can help you with that. In the pinned comment, you have a link. There you can enter, schedule a consultation so that I or a member of my team can chart the best path to your nationality. And with that, you can reunite your sibling. Most of these consultations are free, so take advantage of them. Now let's move on to the other scenario. The scenario in which I have nationality, either from Spain, a country of the European Union, or the European Economic Area, or from Switzerland, and I want to reunite my sibling. What should I do? Well, the first thing you need to know is that this is by no means as simple a process as reuniting with a partner, spouse, or children. It is a much more restrictive process than those more standard or common processes, in the sense that you will not only have to prove the relationship with your sibling, but you will also have to prove that this sibling is financially dependent on you and that there is no one else obligated besides you to provide that assistance to your sibling. That is, there is no other family member who can provide that financial assistance to your sibling, and that your sibling is in need. Support material. This means not just that you send him money month by month in a sufficient amount to subsist, but also that he cannot support himself by his own means. This is because he has no income, no job, no properties, no shares in companies, because he has nothing to provide for his own sustenance, therefore he needs your help. It is also highly recommended to prove the reason why that sibling cannot work. Ideally, it should be a significant reason such as disability, illness, or depending on the sibling's situation. Also studies. It could be a good reason. There are processes where regrouping someone with your Spanish nationality and even with your legal residence is extremely simple. Like the cases I mentioned before, partner, spouse, children under 18. If you are a legal resident or under 26, if you are someone with nationality, parents over 65 years old. If you do it with the current regulation, or parents over 80 if you do it with the new regulation which will come into effect from May 20th, 2025. But in this case of siblings, this goes as extended family and therefore becomes complicated. The thing in the sense that I mentioned to you, it's not just about the bond, but also that you support them financially month by month in an amount sufficient for subsistence. And that person needs that help because they cannot provide for themselves. And there is no other family member more obligated to do so, and that person cannot work and provide for themselves, ideally due to illness, disability, or study. It is very important to document all these aspects in this type of process to have a good chance of success. The better you document them, the higher your probability of success, given that these are processes where the assessment of the immigration officer or the consular officer, well, it carries a lot of weight in the decision, as there are many assumptions to prove and there is freedom of evidence to prove it. You know, if you have any specific concerns, you can leave them in the comments, or you can directly go to the pinned comment to schedule your consultation with me or a member of my team, and we will chart the best path towards your legal residency, your brother's legal residency, or your nationality, and even your brother's. Remember that we have a satisfaction guarantee according to which if you do not obtain your legal residency, if you do not get your nationality, you do not pay us. Assent applies in terms and conditions that you can review on the day of your consultation, but generally it works. In that way, thanks for your like, thank you for your comment. Thank you for sharing this with someone who might find it useful, and above all, thank you for subscribing, which I assume you've already done. It's the smartest thing you can do. We publish videos daily, keeping you updated on the latest immigration and nationality news in Spain, and you motivate us to continue sharing this information. Thank you very much for watching us. See you next time.